All right, Curt, it is Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for Stop Being the Best Kept Secret. We're going to have some fun today, aren't we, Curt?
Damon, dude, we have fun every day, don't we?
Yes, just varying levels of fun.
Very right. So on a 1 to 10, what are you anticipating today?
I start out thinking it's going to be a 10.
Hey, you know what? Let's shoot for the stars. What do they say? If you shoot for the moon and you hit a star, right? I'm
Yeah.
butchering that one, right?
Shoot for the stars, hit the moon, you still made it to the
You
moon.
still win. You still win. So you know what? Let's dive in. So we're talking about stop being the best kept secret. I tell you one thing. One thing that I'm really enjoying is like the more you put yourself out here, the more it's almost like this is kind of like an accountability opportunity.
Yep.
Right. And it's like when you put yourself out there of, we don't have all the answers. I won't speak for you. I don't have all the answers. We're trying to figure it out. But what the topic today is, we want to talk about relationships over transactions.
Yeah.
Relationships over transactions. I'll tell you, and that's been like a hot topic, at least for me, for the folks, the clients that we're blessed with, that we work with on a regular basis.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, there's uncertainty anytime, right? I don't care. You pick a year, you pick a decade, you pick a whatever. There's uncertainty anytime.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
However, like in our space right now, we work with the manufacturing extension partnerships, and there have been some challenges there, right? There have been some challenges with the manufacturing extension partnerships. And, it's tough when like people in your space are going through difficult times or challenges because you're focused on those relationships, right? So let's dive into like the value of relationships over transactions. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think really it's about getting to know people as people first.
Right.
And it varies the amount you get to do that by how much time you can spend with people. But I really enjoy that. I enjoy getting to know people, get to know what they like, what their real values and passions are, because that then helps you to understand if you are going to do business as a buyer or a seller with that person, just what might be important and what are the things that we want to really make sure we emphasize.
Right. And I think, as we've gone through, and we're going to be doing more of this when we talk about our digital game plan, understand like that buyer persona.
Yeah.
We call them that soulmate. Like, who is that ideal buyer? You have God-given talents, you have expertise, you have things that you are just, there's nobody better than you at what you do. And when you laser focus on like your core strengths, the thing that you do, as opposed to like jack of all trades, master of none type thing, really laser focus on like where you fit best, man. I know, like, I get in situations frequently where I'm like, man, am I the best guy for this spot? But I love when you get into the zone, Damon. I know, like, you had a couple calls this week, probably a lot of calls with clients this week, and you're just like, man, there's just, saying this with like total humility, there's nobody better than me right now of like delivering the solution to this person, and how together as a team can we move the needle, right?
Yeah, it's fun when that happens. And I think coming back to relationships over transactions, and Walter Crosby said this, I talked to him, I think it was earlier this week, and he was talking about it. He says, and consummate sales professional, just one I totally respect, because he's no BS, straight up. And he said, listen, all I want to have is conversations with people and ask questions, learn more about them. And he said, if I am in that situation and I'm trying to sell, he said, I'm not trying to sell. I'm trying to figure out, is what I have going to solve their problem?
Right.
And if it is, great, we can talk about it. But if it's not, I need to keep asking questions, because I need to understand their problem well, because we're going to leave this conversation with either I'm going to know if I'm the right fit, and if I'm not, I want to be able to refer them to somebody I know that they can get the help they need.
Right.
Because he said, I'd never want to leave that as just, well, I didn't sell anything, so I'm off down the road. He said, as a salesperson, those kind of things, when you can help somebody else when you're not the best fit by getting them to the best fit, he said, it is a game changer in your success over time, because when they do need what you do, they're coming back to you because you helped them before.
Completely. I had a meeting in person this morning with a guy. I can't speak high enough about this guy. He's a giant. He's like 6'7", and just a powerhouse of a human being. I could listen to him all day. Just a great guy, very successful salesperson. And he said the exact same thing. He's the I know a guy. I
Mm-hmm.
know a guy. So the thing is, like, he's in insurance sales, very successful, humble, funny, great
Yeah.
guy, does incredible work. But he said, you know what? When a client comes to me that needs this, I refer them to this person. I send them to this person. Like, he's the I know a guy. But man, he's like, when somebody comes to me and they need this, I don't want anybody else to be better than me. I'm selling a commodity. Like, they can
Yeah.
go to anybody. I
Yep.
know that they can go to anybody, but man, when they come to me, I want to give them 110%. I want to give them everything I've got. So when they have a challenge, because like insurance, like usually, it's not a fun event. It's not like, hey, this is awesome. I got in a car accident. Like, it's
Yeah.
usually not a great event. And so when he's calling him, like, he's giving that person everything he's got.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great example, right?
Mhm.
Because when you're selling commodities
Mhm.
like that, there's a million of them in business, in life. There's all kinds of things like that. But those relationships and being able to help other people, you can tell those people that do that are in those industries because they're very successful.
Right.
And it is because they really care about people, care about the relationships, and
Right.
care about helping them solve problems.
Right. So all right. So what are some tips, advice they have for somebody out there to maybe they struggle or challenge, like, hey, this is kind of a new concept. Do you have any, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you have any tips and advice for folks out there on how do you focus on those relationships, earn that trust? We're saying, like, hey, be the I know a guy, or I know a gal person, right? What do you have any other suggestions? Like, what's worked for you or your career, that advice that you want to share?
Well, I used to suck at it, honestly. I'm just gonna say I did because I always thought it was selling, right? Because
Right.
it did because I didn't know any different in the
Always
beginning.
be closing, right?
Yeah, that always be closing kind of thing, and
Mhm.
you have to close at a certain point,
Mhm.
but it really is, and again, um, the salespeople that I know that I talk to, it is about asking questions and getting to know somebody, getting to
Mhm.
know their problems better.
Mhm.
It really, the questions you ask
Mhm.
people, whether you're in a networking call, whether you're in a sales situation, those questions are what makes or breaks your success. Because if you're asking the right questions and you continue to ask deeper questions when you
Mhm.
go, this is something that we should explore more, to
Mhm.
either help them clarify in their own mind or to help you understand better, that's where you really get the value from these relationships. Because
Mhm.
at surface level you could say, oh yeah, that's a problem that we might be able to help with or whatever, but then you
Mhm.
go two levels deeper and you go, it's really good and we know exactly what we would
Mhm.
do,
Mhm.
or nope, this
Right.
is a red flag that I missed if I wouldn't have asked those
Mhm.
follow-up questions.
Mhm.
Now, if you're the person that's being asked the question, and this is for people that are trying to build these relationships, right? I'm reaching out, I'm
Mhm.
talking to people. The people on the other side, you say this many times, Curt, who do people like to talk about?
I'm doing that in a webinar. What do people think about all day, every day?
Yeah.
Themselves, right?
Yes.
They think about themselves all day, every day.
The question's like, well, and how does that affect your daily life?
Right.
How
Right.
how does that,
Right.
just keep asking those deeper questions
Yeah.
because they feel heard.
They feel
You feel
heard.
heard when you do
Right.
that.
Understood. Right.
Yeah, understood. Yeah. And you just, those deeper questions, just, I mean, in a conversation, two or
Mhm.
three of those questions at the right moment can
Mhm.
make the difference with that person leaving with the feeling of, wow,
Mhm.
Curt's a great guy.
Right.
Or, yeah, it was nice talking to
Right.
Curt.
What our friend Ray Zagano calls it commission breath. Remember that?
Yes,
Like
yes.
I have buddies in pharma sales where they, you come in, you vomit all over, all the features and stuff. I had a mentor years and years ago, a business advisor, just a wonderful human being, great entrepreneur. And he said, if you could be the master question asker,
Yeah.
you don't need to know the answers, but if you could master the questions, that was the key to success. And outside, like, everybody worshiped the ground this guy walked on. Like, he'd walk in a room, it was just like, it was like the Godfather walk in the room. It was like a grandfatherly type guy, and just people loved him, adored him, but people respected him because he cared, and he asked questions, and he knew the right questions to ask. Right.
Yes. And if you don't know the right questions to ask, I mean, this is a great thing to prompt AI about. Explain a little bit about the situation. Say, hey, I want to ask some good questions to really understand what's going on with them and their situation, or and it might give you some good ideas there to start doing it. And then there are some standard ones, that you can keep doing over time.
Yeah.
And but that can help a lot.
Yeah. I know a guy this week. And so you and I have a client, and this is a wonderful client. They're in metal, manufacturing metal, and talking about getting like real high level e-commerce. And so way out of my league, right? Like I want to be the e-commerce guy, but it's way out of my league. I'm like, I have an incredible e-commerce agency for you. We get on a sales call. And these two guys are probably half my age, and I'm in awe. I'm literally like, if I had a piece of paper, I had like totally taken notes. I didn't say a word for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just taking notes. These guys just asked question after question after question. And I was just in awe and just total respect of like of how these guys handle themselves. And again, like, at such a young age, with such professionalism, such care, such concern. It was really a thing of beauty to watch,
Yeah. And that's the benefit of really studying sales and understanding how the relationships and asking questions and just all of human behavior too, just understanding how questions can help you in life, not just if you're trying to sell something too.
Right. Yeah. I'll tell you, so, all right, we're going to wind down. So, our dear friend wasn't here today. You and I said we're jumping on here. We're talking relationships over transactions. And so, I just finished the book, Go Giver. Phenomenal book that I said that should be like mandatory reading. Any other books that you, again, not to put you on the spot, you've been reading some great books like 7 Habits. What's the other book you were just talking about the other day?
Oh, I'm in a book club. I'm going over Think and Grow Rich again, but we've done that about 4 times. And then I'm actually into a couple AI books right now that are really something. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So all sorts of great books out there. And so again, big takeaway today is like, focus on the other person, focus on their challenges, focus on their problems. On top of that, focus on their customers' challenges, their customers' problems.
Yeah.
And how do you, dive deeper into those? And, just a great opportunity to build those strong, healthy, trusting relationships. Last thing I'm going to share as we close out, relationships over transactions. Out teach the competition. Damon, what do I mean? So I was on a sales call earlier today, and we were geeking out about out teaching the competition. The guy was like, and he's in a real high level, like way above my, like there's some products that I would never be involved in, like real high tech scientific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, I'll teach the competition. That is awesome. What do you, when we say that, what comes to your mind with I'll teach the competition?
Well, the easy part about that, because when you realize that's what you can do is help inform your potential customers and be that source of truth for them, and just information, great information. Mm-hmm. It's probably stuff that you already know and have.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's not like I have to go out and invent something. It's like, I've been doing this for decades or a long time. I know a lot about it. Mm-hmm. Now I need to look at it with different perspective. Mm-hmm. Because I'm the race car driver now, and instead of the person that's never seen a car before, right? And I need to take that person who's never seen a car before and explain to them what it's like to, a car is about, all the way into being a race car driver, all those little steps that educate that customer, that potential customer, and position you as the person that's pretty cool. And you might want to, if they need that, might want to do that.
Right. Be that Sherpa, be that guide. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you're selling products, you're selling widgets, you're selling your time, you're selling services. Just be unapologetic, shameless, fierce educator. And what a great way to build those relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. It's good stuff.
Okay. All right, dude, let's start winding down. So, hey, you know what? Happy Father's Day to you, my friend. Happy Father's Day to all of our fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. I don't care if you're a pet parent, if you're a real parent, or whatever it is. And for, everybody out there has a father, go wish your father happy Father's Day. So I just wish everybody an amazing, incredible, wonderful weekend. God bless you. And Damon, how about, as we always like to say, just go out and be someone's inspiration, and you too we'll make the world a better place.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will be back again next week.